So here's Destiny. So his name is Stephen Bennell II, aka Destiny, aka Tiny. So, yeah, this is him, aka Tiny. What would you assess? I mean, Ryan, you're a pretty fit guy. I mean, you go to the gym pretty often, right?
Yeah, I'd like to say so.
How would you assess Destiny's fitness level?
Dude, it looks like he eats McDonald's every day.
Which, look, I can't talk because, I mean, you're the number one person to clown on me for not going to the gym, which I do now, But, like, Destiny, like, the thing about this guy, and what makes it really hilarious when we get into this guy, is, you know, he is so mentally deranged. He has absolutely no friends. He targets, you know, younger women, which is the core with the case. The source of this case, right, is an individual called Rose, who he was sharing spicy adult materials with on Discord, and that's where the leaks come in. That's where the cybersecurity question comes in, right? But really, this comes out of his inability to just be a normal person, treat people regularly, and like continually cope. So this is Destiny level cope, okay?
Okay.
So his girlfriend cheated on him. So a normal person, right? When your girlfriend cheats on you, you're heartbroken, right? It hurts you, right? That's normal. And then you recover, right? So this is what Destiny says. My girlfriend didn't actually cheat on me because now I'm suddenly poly and everyone else is an insecure loser because they're not out blowing dudes instead.
Was that really a statement?
Yeah, essentially. It's the Cliff Notes. It's the Cliff Notes.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Next is he abandoned his son Nathan. Poor kid. And the kid like is now like, because he's left, right? So the kid went right? So a normal person would be embarrassed that their kid it like despises them and would try to salvage the relationship with the son. That's normal, right? Instead, Destiny says that his son is actually jealous because Destiny is talking to and supposedly sleeping with, although I think it's more dudes, girls the age of his son, including, once again, we've got evidence right now of him exchanging messages with Rose, who's underage. Is that normal behavior to you?
Not in my reality.
And then last, this is great. Someone calls you the F slur. And I'm not going to say that one because that'll get us really, really blurred. The normal reaction, I think, for a hetero guy, for a normal dude, is, okay, either one of two things, I think, right? You either totally ignore it or you throw hands, right? Instead, Destiny gets on Grindr and then records himself with dudes and says, if you don't like watching me do this, you're phobic. I can't make this stuff up. Let me just read his background here, and I'll blow this up a little bit so you guys can see it better. So I'm Jesus Pena. I'm over 18 years old. I'm the founder of eForensics. I have 24 years of experience. My CV is attached. My specialties, my fields of specialty relate to digital forensics and e-discovery consulting and advisory services, information security auditing, and assessments to law firms, corporations, and municipalities and federal agencies since 2000. My digital forensic expertise includes evidence acquisition, evidence analysis and reporting, and expert witness testimony. As it applies to electronically stored information, ESI, found on mobile devices, workstations, virtual physical servers, routing and filtering devices, and cloud storage and computing. So that's kind of, I mean, like information security auditing, that's effectively cybersecurity, right? Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so like it's a super broad branch, right? There's so many different ways you can go with it, right? And is this term like ESI, is that pretty common in the cybersecurity field?
I think it's common in forensics. It wasn't a term that I ever used in my niche, but yeah. Cool.
Okay, so let's go down to where this is his background. He has a lot of experience, so we're going to kind of go through that. So this is related to a plaintiff, that's Pixie's, claims under the Intimate Image Protection Act, CARDI, which went into effect on October 1st, 2022, that at least one video of plaintiff and defendant having a sexual encounter was made accessible on the internet by the defendant well after the law went into effect. So saying after this law went into effect, there was a leak and that went out, right? So, and you're familiar with Discord generally, right, Ryan?
Yeah, yeah, and I looked into some of this, so I have a pretty good idea of what's going on here.
Oh, also, are you familiar with the Kiwi Farms?
In name
have,
only. In name
in
only.
name only. Okay, in name only. Yeah, that's actually it's better that way, right? Don't poke the fruit farmers. But
oh wait, that's the leak site, right? There's something about
yes,
leak. That's all I know. Yeah, people leak stuff on there. Yeah.
Yes. So all of people leak stuff on there all the time. It's run by this guy Josh Moon. I don't know whether he's back in the U.S. or not. He was in like Eastern Europe for a while. But essentially, everyone keeps trying to take this site down because it hosts all the leaks. But essentially, the courts like have really not been able to do much because it's not it's not in the U.S. Right? The guy wasn't even there. And most of the time, it's stuff that was leaked out. So essentially, let's see, 29 of defendants' files were posted to Kiwi Farms by an individual on this Kiwi Farms screen named Solo Tiny Leaks, right? So he created an account the same day, and image one, and there's image one attached as an attachment. The leak files originated on Discord, and as can be seen from two of the file names, was spoiler and attached as Exhibit D. The naming convention is unique to Discord and applied whenever an attachment is added, and the user flags it as a spoiler. So this is something. So is this pretty common where the file naming conventions are like unique to a program?
Yeah, sometimes on different platforms and stuff, they'll have like a certain naming convention to things.
Got it. Okay. So the fact that some of the leak files began with spoiler indicates that the hack files originated from a Discord account that others sent or received the files. In the case, it could have been obtained from accessing roses or, this is the key, either Discord account. In defendant's declaration, that's Tiny. In Tiny's declaration, Tiny claims the leak came from a compromise of Rose's Discord account. So he's saying that it's hers, and she's saying it's his, right? So is it possible, Ryan, could you explain, like, generally how that would go down to discover, okay, whose account it was leaked from? If you were like thinking about this problem critically, like how would that kind of be attacked?
In terms of like if one of them might have been compromised.
Compromised, right? Exactly.
Yeah, there's no, it's always like the cat and mouse thing, right? It's like if someone hacks into something, there is, levels of sophistication to that. So if they really know what they're doing, they're going to hide the tracks pretty well. But if they're a little bit more careless or more amateur, then there might be some easy indicators. Like, for example, what was the IP address that accessed the account? Like, where was that located? If you see like impossible travel, that's another thing. Those of you working in a remote 9-to-5 job, you might have had that before, where you turn on your VPN and you turn it off, and then you get hit up by someone at the company for impossible travel. Like, oh, I see you were in Germany and now you're in the US like an hour later. Like, what's going on here? So there's different artifacts like that might spring up, but those are some of the low-hanging ones to look at first.
Okay, so let's pop this thing open. Okay, so here we go. We've got okay, so after defendant's disclosure of the video, the video remained on Discord's content delivery network (CDN) until it was deleted by defendant after November 29, 2024. Kiwi Farms post solely Tiny Leak. So let's talk about the CDN real quick. So that's essentially saying like the data is stored with Discord on their servers, right? That's what they're trying to kind of explain there, right?
For the most part. Now, the purpose of a CDN is, take us, for example, we're in Thailand. If we wanted to access something on a Discord server, maybe the person that posted the file that we're trying to access did so from the US, right? So the reason that these companies have CDNs is it will copy that file and put it on servers all around the world globally, so that when we try to access it, we can access it quickly because it's going to be, I don't know, in a server in Singapore for us, right? Rather than having to go all the way to the US and download it across the globe. So it's just a CDN is just servers that are kind of cloning the data out and hosting it around the world so that wherever someone's located, they can access the data faster.
Does that make it more like less secure inherently though, because the data is out
Well, the
there
way
on a
they
bunch
did
of
it, the way that Discord was set up, it was a security issue, and that was what led to this leak.
right,
As we'll I guess get to in a second.
as we'll get to in a second. Yeah. Okay. So between April 9th, 2022, at least through at least sometime in December 2023, the video had a continuous ongoing posting with unprotected, unrestricted. Guys, you got to have protection, okay? Unprotected, unrestricted accessibility initiated by the defendant by means of either direct use of a uniform resource locator URL, website address, or via queries to any number of search engines. This unprotected, unrestricted accessibility of the video is a result of how Discord implemented storage and access of message attachments on its CDN servers that catch Discord's attachments. Right? Up until sometime in December 2023, when the vulnerability was rectified, Discord was known to have a significant security issue wherein all attachments sent in messages were permanently publicly accessible from the CDN simply by navigating to a permanent web address that pointed to the attachment. Ruh-roh. See Exhibit C here in a hearing of a Discord community forum post taken from the Wayback Machine. Do you use the Wayback Machine ever to kind of look at stuff?
Yeah, it's good for like this type of stuff where you're trying to find something really specific, especially for digital forensics, because you can go back to snapshots of, the site in previous years, months, whatever.
And the archive titled Privacy for CDN Attachments, where it first describes the issue back in 2021. This major security hole resulted in bad actors using the platform for malware distribution. And by the way, isn't this an insanely long amount of, so you've been doing offensive hacking, you've been looking at issues. Is this abnormal for you to see like over a 2-year gap before they figure they were effed up?
Yeah, it seems kind of strange because this is something that shouldn't be that difficult of a fix, really, from what I gather. But yeah, it looks like they just kind of ignored it or whatever. I know Discord's a little bit of an interesting thing because it wasn't profitable for the longest time. So I don't know what they got going on internally there. But yeah, typically for something like this, you would see it fixed a lot sooner.
So again, news was widely distributed under TechRadar, Bleeping Computer, Bitdefender, PC Mag. To address the vulnerability and the issue of the permanent accessibility, in December of 2023, Discord implemented authentication enforcement, which basically replaced permanent links to attachments with temporary ones that expire within 24 hours. By doing so, Discord effectively solved the problem of its CDN service hosting malware. Equally important, the change also resulted in the inability of search engines like Google and Bing to index the attachment files, because when the engine's crawlers returned a day or later, the URLs expired and the engines will not be able to find the files to index. But okay, they're not on Google or Bing, but they're still technically accessible if you happen to have the URL, right? I mean, is that not?
Well, now the URL has a parameter, an additional expiration parameter that I guess it's going to either change the URL or validate that parameter in some way before you can access the site. So now there is some kind of protection, or before you can access the file. So now there is some kind of protection on it, whereas before it was just wide open.
Okay, so Discord generates new temporary URLs with authentication enforcement in the background, which appends some parameters to the old URL style to identify the expiration date. The new style temporary creation link appears only in the background only if the recipient or sender of the attachment views the message with the attachment. At that time, Discord's application programming interface, API, will render the message on the application screen and automatically creates a temporary link. What is important to note is that once the authentication enforcement went into effect, any old style URLs became obsolete and the attachment were no longer reachable by the old style URL, but the attachments physically remained on the CDN core and CDN servers. Well, can you explain this part to me? The CDN core and CDN servers? Yeah.
So what it's saying is that the links were invalid, but the file itself still resides on the CDN server.
Okay, but the link itself is invalid.
The link itself is not a valid way to access that file, but the file itself still exists.
Got it. Of importance is that both before and after the implementation, if an attachment was removed by the sender, i.e. defendant, that's Tiny over here, it would delete from the Discord core servers and then from the CDN cache. So deleted by the defendant, and then it's deleted by the servers and the cache, right? Back to the video files. Solo Tiny Leaks appears to have obtained it from Rose. Bro, I'm never gonna stop laughing at that, bro. It's great. Solo Tiny Leaks obtained it from Discord account in November 2024. The attachment was stored on the servers between August 22 and November 24, and remained accessible to Rose until it was deleted by defendants sometime after November. Which, by the way, yeah, this timeline's looking a little suspect at this point based on the filing of the lawsuit. However, it was also publicly accessible via the permanent link and reachable by the index engines between April 9th through early 2003. Although the length of the permanent URL made it virtually impossible for anyone to guess it, nevertheless, dissemination and propagation likely occurred through search engine indexing. Although search engines do not index video or audio content itself, it does index multimedia files metadata, which can be rich in information. Could you explain what that would be, a multimedia file's metadata?
Yeah, so metadata you can think of as just data about the data. So anything to do with like maybe the file type, the length of the video, if it's like a video, anything that describes the actual multimedia file. So that could be like sensitive information, like the creation time, all the details about it, pretty much.
Without these unique digital identifiers, there's no reliable method to determine if the data set has been altered or compromised at any point after its initial collection, right? The principle is a cornerstone of digital forensics. Soja gets in and explains that. So then it says there's a significant evidence of apparent document tampering related to Tiny's document production and is evidence submitted in support of his motion to dismiss. The first instance relates to an excerpt of Discord messages from defendant's Discord, Bates, and this is the reference, right, which was prepared after January 17th. The corresponding was a snapshot taken from the account. So that's, and once again, there's two different time zones here, right? So it's 8:33 p.m. I think it's Eastern, and then she's somewhere else, right? So it's 1:33 a.m. for her, right? So in theory, both conversations have been collected at the same time. The content would be identical. However, that was not the case. The version from defendant's side is conspicuously missing the video attachment that was originally sent on April 9th at 8:36 p.m. However, pursuant to defendant's declaration, upon plaintiff's request, defendant removed the video in late November 2024, which explains why it's missing from the chat history, right? So you see here from the defendant's production, right? That video is missing. It's not there anymore, right? Not there. There's apparent sign of tampering in the message wherein she comments to have viewed the video before its documented arrival. So, when she's saying, where is it? When she's saying, that was amazing, I can't wait to blow you, right? That's at 8:33, but he claims it was sent at 1:36, which is really 8:36 in the local time, right? Which is physically impossible. So he messed with things. Mm-hmm. He messed with things. It does not appear that Rose somehow came back and edited the message after viewing it. The only way to update a message from a Discord user is for the owner to delete or edit, in which case the edit would have appended to the message, but no such qualifier is seen. This temporal and logical inconsistency serves as apparent indication of post-Discord export manipulation. That's when he was exporting it, he was messing with it, right?
Yeah, and I think it was like a HTML file or something. It said that converted into a PDF.
The second spoliation issue, that means tampering with evidence, is when defendant appears to have manually transposed content from a Discord chat with the screen name InBloom1991. Right? The timestamps and Google file identifiers on the chat history do not match the same as the list of defendants' prepared media files under the screen name Abby MC. So there's a mismatch here, I guess. And here we're looking at this. So the link doesn't match up, right? Let me just read some of this, though. This is hilarious, right? I got to read Destiny's chat. Good mornings. Good morning. Be good. Be careful. Destiny says, I'm always careful. Okay. I don't mess around with BPD girls anymore. Okay. Lucky I'm not BPD. God, I have a hell of a lot else, but we'll work it out just fine, I think. How many red flags is that, Ryan?
I don't have enough fingers.
I wish I could jump on top of you right now. I got a couple new vids of me trading head with someone. Do you want? Yes, please. And more evidence of tampering. The Google Drive links that Benel sent to Abby, that's Benel's tiny, in the two chat threads are not actually the same links. The highlighted links below are from ECF, and non-highlighted links are from ECF 132. Because labels are provided to them. So essentially, the URL links were bunk, and that's going to be used against him, right? Let's see. The assertion that his previously his preserved communication logs with ABMC conclusively established that he never transmitted the video to her is not reliable evidence because it appeared to be tampered with. Finally, I've noted that Benel states because the original file name of the video, as revealed by Solo Tiny Leaks, is not the same as either of the file names. That proves he never sent the video to ABMC. But Benel is comparing apples to oranges, because two file names in ECF that he purportedly sent to Apple MC are not file names. Instead, they are Google Drive link URLs, which merely point to unknown file names. Whoopsie. So under penalty of perjury, signed off Jesus Pena. So that's that document. Now, there is an amended statement here, guys, which just corrects a little bit that came in today. Let me show you guys that. It just provides some background, and I want you guys to know that I obviously consider all of the evidence, here in the Legal Mindset. But it goes into further background on the delay, right? Which the delay of the video, where it ascertained that he sent it later, right? He changed the time, was actually 8:36. I think previously it was 8:38, right? So they clarify here. This is the video where she's saying, "Oh my God, love it." And you can't say, "Oh my God, love it," "Oh my G," unless you've seen the video, right? It's pretty obvious. So this obviously does not line up. So that's the main thing there with that.